Now, welcome back. You know, they say a house divided cannot stand. Now, if that saying is anything to go by, especially in the NGO world, then we might as well say if the NGO Council cannot handle the leadership wrangles, then we might just say it will be the end of it very soon. Claims of politics and witch hunting have been made against the council. Today we are asking, is this the beginning of the end of the NGO Council, or is there a way out of these murky waters? We are greatly honored to have the officials of the the NGO Council. We have here close to me Mr. Wilson Kipkazi, who is the acting chair of the council. Next to him we have Kevina Loyatum, who is the CEO of the council. Next to the CEO we have Violet Jumba Okinda, who is the chairperson of the council. And then we have Mohammed Noor, who is an executive committee member of the council. Thank you so much. But perhaps it's important for me to also give you this particular statement so that we understand where we are coming from. The NGO Council provides overall leadership to the NGO sector. It champions the key values of probity, transparency, accountability, justice, and good governance. So in other words, they're supposed to set the example. Now let me come back to you. So far I can see we have a chairperson. We also have an acting chairperson, which literally brings us to the meat of the issue. So what is happening? How do you have a chairperson and an acting chairperson? Perhaps we start with you, Mr. Kipkazi.
Thank you, Madam Mokas. It is about the same integrity and transparency that we are talking about that resulted in me becoming the acting chair. The National Council of NGOs, actually, as you've spoken, clearly that's our one. What happened is there was some financial misappropriate or some mismanagement, corruption in it that resulted in the removal of the national team.
Yeah, please speak directly because we want to know who is that person.
Madam Violet Okinda was the chair of the National Council until when she went out of the way to first open an illegal account that brought the committee, the executive committee, to sit and discuss the same issue in our presence on a meeting we held on 11th of February this year. And what happened is when she was asked the issues, she actually confirmed that she has opened an account. And the first worst part of it, she opened an account with a REGCOM committee, that is a regulatory committee. According to our rules and regulations, the regulatory committee are not supposed to handle any financial or accounts of the council. The people who are supposed to open the account of the council is the chair, the CEO, the treasurer, and one other member. There's actually supposed to be 4 members. And then 3. And we have an account that we had already opened. Now what happened is there was some financial she was trying to secure from some donors, which she was not able to disclose to the executive committee. And she went ahead to open a private account in an account we didn't know, with 2 regulatory committees, ourselves and ourselves.
All right, so that is what prompted
the
fact that
the action of the executive committee. Yeah.
And who chose you as the acting
now,
chair?
Usually, according to our articles, Article 22 of the Rules and Regulations, it says clearly that if a member or if the chair falls, then the executive committee sits and elects a chairperson to take over, because there is no vacuum in leadership. So that's what happened when she was actually what happened on 11 is the executive committee questioned her because she came to the meeting and she even refused to chair that meeting, and I was given the authority because we asked her to chair. She said, I'm not going to chair that meeting because I'm one of the persons we discussed. So we discussed the issue, and we agreed as a team to form a task force to investigate the conduct of the chair.
Which you did.
Which we did. And unfortunately, after that, she refused to comply with what we had agreed in the meeting.
Now, Mr. Mohammed Noor, you were part of the executive committee. Do you confirm what Mr. Kipkazi is saying?
Thank you very much for giving us the time, because it's important that we tell Kenyans, we talk to the Kenyans, and as you said, I think I totally agree with you that the sector is actually supposed to be the example of democracy, internal democracy, and not only putting spotlight on others on accountability, transparency issues, and issues of corruption, because civil societies usually bring out issues of corruption, but the main thing is we should be the examples ourselves. We should show that example. And let me start by what my brother Kipkazi said, because I was really shocked when I watched him on television was it the day before yesterday?
It was on Tuesday.
Yeah, when he said he was the chairman of the National NGO Council and the acting chairman. I was actually surprised, because he will attest to what, he was actually vice chair of a working committee. And when we elected him, he was not in the country. He can attest to that. He was out of the country. He was nominated in the NGO board, a meeting called by the NGO Commission board. And we are not saying things out of the, we're not just quoting. We have the minutes of the meeting that actually elected him as the vice chair of a working committee. That was signed by the board chairman, Joshua de Parashau, and the chair of the NGO Council, Okinda. So this minutes is what actually made him the vice chair of a working committee. He is not the vice chair. He was not even the vice chair of the council. In 2011, we had an election, and we were elected, all of us, on the same platform. I was elected with him as EXCOM member, executive committee member. Our chairman, who was elected that time, was Ken Wafula. I was not actually supporting Ken Wafula at that time. My chairman actually lost, Dr. Macmillan Kiru. He lost. But I came in as the EXCOM member. We came on the same platform. And the vice chair who was elected was Catherine Muredi.
Now let me cut you short, Mr. Noor. Of course, you are really clarifying the place of Mr. Kipkazi and his position.
Yes.
But just to take you back to what he was talking about, especially in regards to Madame Juma Okinda.
Yes.
What he said about Madame Okinda, is it true?
Thank you very much. When it comes to the opening of private account, because I just wanted to make things clear that Kipkazi...
We'll get back to his position. Yeah.
When it comes to, he said she opened a private account, and I have the minutes of the meeting, of the minutes that opened that account with me, and they have it. The minutes are signed by John Busi, the chairman of the regulatory committee, and they're also signed by Kevina Loyatum, who is the secretary, who is seated right here. And when the minutes are signed by a CEO...
And more, yes.
Let me finish. Because these are the people who signed the document. The other one, they are tested. Because, if somebody comes and signs at the bottom, when they went to the bank, because they were supposed to be signatories to the account, and the name of the account is the National NGO Council account. The mandatory signatories are the secretary and the chair. How private is that account? And if they attest and they say the chair has also signed that document, and somebody else called Adna Mugire, who is a RegCom member, also signed the document. So, how private? I want to ask him, how private is that account? I mean, if you accuse someone of opening a private account, and then we need to be, fair. We need to show and be seen as doing justice. If she's wrong in opening, what about the other people who signed with her? Did they not commit an offense? So this is the things I wanted to ask some clarity.
All right, thank you so much. Let us get back to, of course, the person that we're really talking about, Madame Juma Okinda.
Yes.
Mr. Kipkazi has spoken and has given us a history of what happened, you opening a parallel account with Bank of Africa, and there was an investigation that resulted to you being taken out of the office as chairperson. Number one, is everything that Mr. Kipkazi said, is it true?
Thank you, Mr. Makazi. I don't think what he's saying is true, because first and foremost, the account was opened. That I confirm. And it was opened after we had a meeting on 24th January for the executive committee. And they knew I was doing resource mobilization, preparing for the annual General Assembly. And as the head of the organization, I have the mandate to look for resources. I disclosed to them all the people who are going to give us funds. And in fact, based on the information I gave the executive committee, they rang all those people and they stopped the funding. So it's not that it was private, it was public information. I gave it to them. In the council we had 4 accounts: the general account, members account, program account. There are 4 accounts. So we have naturally had a regulatory account. As we go to the elections, the regulatory committee normally has a lot of work because we have cases of regulatory issues, disciplinary issues which we are supposed to deal with. We are dealing with the code of conduct. We are dealing with the rules and regulations, with the ethics and anti-corruption commission. And we had particularly, when I took over, I was particularly told by the members to make sure by the time we go for the elections, I should have revised the rules and regulations and the code of conduct. So I was in the process of doing all this work with the regulatory committee in preparation for the General Assembly. So the account is not private. The account we opened, we went to the bank, all of us. After the 24th of January, we opened the account. We left the bank together. We even had lunch together. And then we parted. That was on a Saturday. The chief executive officer was supposed to go to the NGOs coordination board, who are our the regulatory arm of the NGOs, to get an introduction letter so that she takes it to the bank and then the account is operationalized. That same Monday, instead of going for the letter, they called me and he called me and told me we have an urgent meeting, started calling me names, and the next thing I heard is that you have opened an illegal account. So I don't know how illegal it is. I don't know how private it is.
All right.
How it was private. I don't think
you're
that
denying what Mr. Kipkazi
yes,
has
I deny.
just told us.
Number 2, let me just finish that last one. Even if it was true, the only people who hire and fire the chairperson is the General Assembly, which is comprised of the members of the council, which is the supreme policy-making organ of the council.
And the General Assembly has not fired.
It has not taken place.
Right.
So even if I had done something wrong, the best they were going to do is to take to the General Assembly. Meanwhile, I prorogued the executive and the committee because our time ended on 27th. But naturally, as the chair, I remain in office holding the baby until after the General Assembly. Then I hand over to the next chairperson. And that is why I am still holding until I take the council to the membership who are the owners of the council.
Thank you, Madam Okinda.
Yeah.
To you, CEO, Madam Lawyer Toom, you've heard them speak.
Yes.
What is your take? You've even been mentioned as one of the signatories there.
Yes, I have been mentioned as one of the signatories. Thank you, Mwakazi. The history of the council is very complicated. All the people who are sitting with me here, all of them come to the council through political arena because they are elected. I am the only appointee who is appointed to come and run day-to-day activities of the council. And in regard to this kind of account, if you check on those minutes, it is written 7th of January 2014. From 7th of January, in fact, we were resolving issues on that particular day of maendeleo ya wanawake. From 7th all the way to 1st, I was actually in up country working on networking of all the counties. I traversed the whole country, Mombasa, Kisumu, Kitale, and on 31st evening, like around 4 o'clock, Madam Chair gave me a call and she told me, Madam CEO, we have been waiting for you. It is now like around 2 weeks and we need you to come and we had a meeting and we need you to come and sign the minutes of opening an account at the Bank of Africa. And she told me if I could be able to be in town, Nairobi, at least by 4. And I was in Nyeri by then. I told her it was not going to be possible by that particular time. And she asked me if I could arrive Nairobi before 6 to come and sign, because there are several partners who want to partner with us and they want to give us a lot of money and she mentioned quite a lot of money. It was coming around 5.5 million. So, and she said it is for us to do the regulatory matters, review our rules and regulation, and the things that were actually in pipeline of the activities of the NGO Council. So for me, I was excited that at least there are donors who have come in. So I told her it was not going to be possible for me to be there because I was leading a central meeting, NGOs. And I came on Saturday morning, and she gave me a call at around 9. I actually drove from my house, went to the Bank of Africa. When I arrived to the Bank of Africa, I actually got the minutes that she had, and she waited for a certain lady at the Bank of Africa to come and assist us to facilitate the process of opening the bank account. I actually asked her, and she said they had the meeting for the regulatory committee. So the first thing I did was call the regulatory committee chair to say, did you have this meeting? And the regulatory committee chair said, yes, we had this meeting. So I said I didn't have doubts. And now there were some people actually who are listed in also, who are not regulatory committee members. They are in executive committee. And so I tried calling the chair, the acting chair now, and I could not be able to reach him. So I actually texted him and told him, oh, we have opened the account that you people actually agreed on. And after like 1 hour, he called me and asked me, what kind of account are you asking me that we have opened? I said, but I am with I went with the chair to the Bank of Africa, and I have called the regulatory committee chair, and he has accepted. He has said, you had a meeting. So he said, no, we have no idea as the executive committee. So that is where now I started thinking, hey, there's a problem then somewhere. I called her back and asked her, Madam Chair, I'm being told that people didn't sit, but the regulatory committee chair has confirmed, but the national vice chair has refused. So I started now calling the rest of the people, and I realized actually all the people who have been written there, including our representative from Law Society of Kenya, they were not present in that meeting.
But why did you sign that document? That's the question.
Because I confirmed from the chair of regulatory committee.
Madam, sorry to ask you, because you are saying that...
I think he's
let me just get some clarity from you, because you are the acting CEO.
Okay.
Can I get some clarity?
Okay.
Because what she's telling us is that he called the acting chair when already she was trying to know things. Yeah, I don't know when he became acting, because I thought what they are telling us is when they found out that this account was open is when they removed her. That's what I was thinking, because that's what he said yesterday, day before yesterday. Now I want to ask you, are you saying that you are not the one who signed this document? And if you signed, I mean, you signed while you did not agree with the contents of the document.
Mr. Noor, I think if you had been very clear, I actually confirmed with the chair of regulatory
I'm asking, are you the one who signed the document, or you are not the one who signed the document? If this is not your signature.
I think that is more.
Okay.
You don't have to be very hasty. That is why we said in the beginning we are what? We have to talk and get in the bottom of the... We don't have to be emotional in anything that we're doing. So when we realized this, and in the same... Because I was leaving actually that particular day to a meeting in Kitale, which was supposed to take place on Monday. The chair called me, and actually she SMS'd me and said, please, before you leave, because I'm preparing for that meeting, please go to the counter of that bank and sign a blank check. Then I will be able to run the process of the meeting or next week when you will not be around. So it became even much more, I became even much more suspicious. And what I did, actually wrote an email back to her and say, Madam Chair, kindly before I do all that, because I feel that you have not given me, actually you have not furnished me with enough information to be able to know what is happening, the activities. So I listed 10 items to ask her to furnish me so that I can be able to facilitate the process of actually signing a check. And in any case, it's not ethical to sign a blank check. And this account has not put any money. So she was very prospective that money were coming to this account, and she was very hasty to say signed a blank check. So even those documents, all of them plus the email, we brought them actually.
Right.
Yes.
Let me cut this short because of time and because of so many things we need to also talk about.
Yes.
So generally,
Yes.
who is governing the NGO Council as chair?
Currently, as the Chief Executive Officer, Madam Violet Okinda was removed officially by the Executive Committee, who are mandated to actually remove her through a sitting. And she was asked in all those minutes, and she's been served the letters accordingly. And the law was followed to the letter. Because you see, the rules of natural justice means you have to actually notify the member several times to make sure that if there is anything, she was told first to bring bring the info for the Executive Committee. She didn't do. 2, she was actually told to work with the investigating committee. She didn't.
All right.
3, Mr. Mokasi, she was actually asked to come to the meeting that actually the investigative committee was sitting to present to the executive committee. She refused. She actually turned down.
If I may go with what you're saying, if she's out of the picture, who is governing it?
At this particular time, the acting national chair is Mr. Wilson Kipkazi, and 2, all the seats of the National Council of NGOs at the moment have been declared vacant, except the national chair and the treasurer, who is supposed to be running day-to-day activities until the next elections, which is actually coming on 19th of April.
Now that's also something that perhaps, because we want to sort out this one, because we don't want us to get into some fight here.
Correct.
There is a General Assembly set for 19th, organized by Madame Lawyer Toom.
Yes.
But I understand there's another one for 18th.
Correct.
For elections as well. So what is happening? There are 2 factions.
Mr. Mokazi.
Is that so?
Yes,
Perhaps Madame Okinda, you could respond to that.
I think I can just highlight so that
let me just kindly, please.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Mwakazi, really we have a country to build. And the civil society and the NGO Council has a lot of work to do in this country. We cannot spend all our life politicking and never delivering service to the wananchi in this country. I will tell you for fact, and the rules, we cannot do things following the rules and regulations of the council. You remember during Maduli's time, people tried to get Manduli out, and they were told by the court, no, take the matter of Manduli to the General Assembly. So there is no way an executive committee or a kangaroo court can sit and remove a chairperson or even a member of the executive committee. It has never happened. It will not happen until the rules and regulations of the council are changed. Now, so that is the status. The rules are here. Even if we took them for interpretation, that is the status.
Okay. Madame Lawyer Toom, you wanted to say something?
This is my parting shot. The NGO Council has had Wrangles for quite some time. She is actually part of Manduli team. She was the treasurer and the finance chair during Manduli's time. She has not even told us, even that particular time there was a lot of misappropriation of funds. She has not actually come to Kenyans to tell us what she did at that particular time. The only thing we hear is we want to build the council. We want to build the council. She came in 2011. I really supported her at that particular time so that I can see a better council. And since 2011, I am telling you, Mr. Mwakazi, we have really struggled and struggled until this year. That is the time the council has had a stable office.
Let me ask this.
Yes.
19th, there will be an election.
Correct.
18th, there's also another one organized. Is that so?
Yes. In the rules and regulation, Mr. Mwakazi, General Assembly, when the seats are declared vacant, it is the Chief Executive Officer who is in office. And it's the Chief Executive Officer who is actually supposed to run all the affairs of the council until the next board comes. Because, 1, I am the secretary to all the committees. I am actually the accounting officer. I am actually the one who is supposed actually to tell the General Assembly on the performance of the executive committee through actually the chair. And in fact, in the rules and regulations, it says when the chair actually is removed, whether by death, God forbid, or by misconducts, the vice chair automatically assumes office. Or if the executive committee are not happy with the vice chair, then they will sit down and actually elect their own chair. And at this particular time, their term ended in January 27. I and Violet Okinda, before she left, she was removed. We advertised and said, give us 3 months. And 3 months, we have finished the issue of the rules and regulation. We had a meeting on first with all the county chairs in this country, and we validated 19th and we advertised. And there is also process. You have 56 days to say the General Assembly has to come. You have 30 days for people to fill in their nomination forms, of which it is happening. Even as we sit here at this particular time, we have a task force which is working on actually vetting people as we sit down now.
All right, so Madam Okinda, where does 18th come from?
It's illegal.
Maybe I can just comment on that.
Yes.
Yes. Members of the council, a special General Assembly and a General Assembly have equal powers. Because of all this that is happening, the members of the council have decided to have a special General Assembly, not for elections, to sort out the issues first. Because remember, the rules and regulations are not completed, the code of conduct is not completed. There is so much that is supposed to complete for us to go for elections on a good platform of integrity, when we have raised the bar for leadership, so that we can get in good people. So the process is not complete. So what the special General Assembly wants to look at is, how do we have all these processes completed before we go in for a General Assembly? Number 2, we have a regulator, with the National NGO Coordination Board. That is the regulator. They are carrying out an audit of NGOs.
Point of correction, Mr. Mokasi. The NGO Coordination Board has no mandate completely on the non-governmental organizations of this country. So I think what we need to do is, we don't need to mix up ourselves. Let's talk about the issues of the National Council of NGOs. So the government has no mandate, apart from actually facilitating the process for us for gazettement issues and having policy matters in other issues. But when it comes to issues of the National Council of NGOs, General Assembly, Executive Committee, Regulatory Committee, and the Chief Executive
We will come back to your comments. We want to now listen to what the public, our audience, have to say in regards to this. And perhaps when we come back, we need to find solutions, because there are loads of NGOs out there who are looking at you as for leadership.
Correct.
So, Kirigo Ngarwe, I believe you're ready with some of those comments from the audience.